Welcome to the Deep Dive, and today we're going to be looking at Deep Blue Sea.
Okay.
Have you seen this one?
I have seen it, yeah.
It's interesting because it's a shark movie, but it's also kind of a psychological thriller, right?
It is. It's very effective, too, because it preys on people's inherent fear of sharks.
Right.
Which is, I mean, it's a primal fear, right? We're not really wired to deal with these big predators in the water.
Right.
And then on top of that, it adds this layer of intelligence
yeah.
that, just completely flips the script on, the traditional kind of monster movie dynamic.
Yeah, it's not just mindless killing machines. It's
Right.
like they're thinking, they're strategizing, they're learning.
They're learning and they're using the environment to their advantage, which is one of the things that makes it so creepy.
So we're talking about Deep Blue Sea, a film that pits a team of scientists against genetically engineered mako sharks.
Mako sharks, yeah, big ones.
In an underwater research facility, which already, just that setting is claustrophobic enough.
Oh, absolutely.
Miles beneath the surface.
Yes. Isolated, no way to get out easily.
Right.
And then you add these super intelligent sharks into the mix and it just becomes a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, you're trapped down there with these, these creatures that are not only big and powerful,
Right.
but they're also incredibly intelligent.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the characters a little bit, because we've got Dr. Susan McAllister, who's this brilliant but ethically questionable scientist.
Yeah, she's got that classic, driven scientist who's maybe lost sight of the bigger picture in pursuit of their goal.
She's trying to find a cure for Alzheimer's, but at what cost, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then there's Russell Franklin, who's the billionaire who's funding the project.
Yeah, the money man.
Yeah, played by Samuel L. Jackson. So he's going to bring...
Yeah, always a good choice.
Yeah, he's going to bring some intensity to the role. And then we've got Carter Blake, who's the shark wrangler.
Yeah, the guy who actually understands sharks.
Yeah, he's the one who's like, hey, these things are dangerous. We need to be careful.
He's the voice of reason, but nobody ever listens to the voice of reason in these movies.
Why, exactly.
Until it's too late.
And, of course, we can't forget Preacher, who is...
the chef.
Yeah, he's the chef. But he ends up playing a much more significant role than you might initially expect.
Yeah, he's got that kind of... everyman quality that makes him really relatable.
So we've got this group of people. They're all trapped in this underwater research facility, and things start to go wrong, as they often do in these kinds of movies.
Well, they're working with genetically engineered sharks. What could possibly go wrong, right?
Yeah.
It's a recipe for disaster from the beginning.
Yeah, it's like they didn't watch any of the previous shark movies.
Right, exactly.
And the first sign that things are really going south is when they're doing this protein extraction procedure.
Right. They're trying to harvest this protein from the shark's brains that they think is going to hold the key to curing Alzheimer's.
Right.
But it doesn't go quite as planned.
It goes horribly wrong, and Gen 1, who is the largest and smartest of the sharks, ends up attacking one of the scientists.
Yeah, and it's not just a random attack. It's very deliberate.
Right.
It's calculated. It shows that these sharks are thinking, they're planning.
It's chilling. It's like they're toying with them.
Yeah, like they're playing with their food.
Exactly.
And it just sets the stage for the rest of the film, where the sharks just continue to outsmart the humans at every turn.
And then to make matters worse, a helicopter crashes into the facility, causing an explosion and flooding.
Yeah, so now not only are they trapped with these super intelligent sharks, but the facility itself is starting to fall apart around them.
Yeah, it's like the whole environment is turning against them.
Right, it becomes this kind of inescapable death trap.
And these sharks are using the chaos to their advantage.
Oh, absolutely. They're using it to herd the humans.
Right.
To cut off their escape routes. It's like they're playing a deadly game of chess.
So the tension just keeps ratcheting up.
Yeah, it's relentless.
It's not just about the physical threat of the sharks anymore.
Right.
It's the psychological torment of being hunted by something that's smarter than you.
Right. That can anticipate your moves.
They can outmaneuver you. It's terrifying.
It's like they're always one step ahead.
And then, just when you think it can't get any worse, we get that scene with Russell Franklin, remember?
Oh, yeah, the one where he's giving this big speech trying to rally the troops, and then Gen 1 comes out of nowhere and takes him out.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's shocking.
It's a total game changer, because you think he's going to be the one to save the day,
Right, you think he's the hero?
He's Samuel L. Jackson. He's always the hero.
Right.
But not this time.
Not this time. The sharks have a different plan.
Yeah, they're not playing by the rules.
So his death really underscores the film's message about human arrogance
Right.
and the consequences of messing with nature. You know,
You can't control everything.
you can't control nature, and you definitely can't control genetically engineered super sharks.
Especially not when they're smarter than you.
Yeah, that's a recipe for disaster.
Absolutely. It's not just about survival at this point, is it? You get the sense that these sharks are aiming for something bigger, like they're trying to sink the whole facility and escape back into the ocean.
Yeah, it's almost like they want to unleash chaos on the world. Imagine those things out in the open ocean, wreaking havoc.
That's a whole other level of horror. The film plays with that, making us think about the global consequences of this experiment gone wrong.
And it makes those scenes inside the facility even more intense, knowing that the stakes are that high.
Oh, absolutely. Every creak, every leak, every flicker of the lights becomes a potential sign that the sharks are closing in.
And the way they use the environment to their advantage,
Mhm.
it's like they're turning Aquatica into their own personal hunting ground.
It becomes this maze of flooded corridors and collapsing structures, and the humans are just pawns in their game.
But even with all that going against them, Carter and Preacher, they don't give up. They actually start to use their ingenuity, their knowledge of the sharks, and their faith to fight back.
Yeah, they become this unlikely duo. You've got the shark expert who understands their behavior, and the chef who brings this element of resourcefulness and resilience.
They're not just reacting to the sharks anymore, they're actually outsmarting them, setting traps, using the environment to their advantage.
And it's in those moments that you see the film flipping the script on the traditional monster movie. These aren't just mindless killing machines, they're intelligent creatures that can be outmaneuvered.
That scene where they use the flooding to herd the sharks into one area.
Yeah, that was genius. They actually managed to think like the sharks, predict their movements, and use it against them.
But it also makes you realize just how cunning these creatures are. They're always adapting, always learning, always a step ahead.
And that's where the true horror lies. It's not just about the physical threat, but the constant fear of being outwitted by something that's smarter than you.
Meanwhile, we see Dr. McAllister wrestling with her guilt, the realization that her ambition might have led to this disaster.
She has a moment where she tries to reason with one of the sharks, almost like she's trying to appeal to some remaining shred of its original nature.
But it's clear that these creatures are beyond redemption. Their enhanced intelligence has only amplified their primal instincts.
And it's in that realization that she makes the ultimate sacrifice, giving her life to save the others.
It's a heartbreaking scene, but it underscores the film's central message. Even with the best intentions, tampering with nature can have dire consequences.
And the scariest part is they've already escaped into the open ocean. The world is at their mercy.
So now it comes down to Carter and Preacher facing off against Gen 1, the biggest and smartest of the sharks, in the ruins of Aquatica.
Talk about a final showdown.
It's a battle of wits, ingenuity, and pure survival instinct.
And the setting, that crumbling, sinking facility, just adds to the tension and the symbolism. It's like humanity's control over nature is literally collapsing around them.
They managed to lure Gen 1 into a trap, using the facility's electrical systems against it.
Yeah.
It's a desperate gambit, but it's their only chance.
And it works. Just as the shark charges in for the kill, they trigger an explosion that engulfs both the creature and what's left of Aquatica.
It's a victory, but a bittersweet one. The facility, this symbol of human ambition and technological advancement, is destroyed, swallowed by the depths.
And as the dust settles, Carter and Preacher emerge from the wreckage, clinging to debris, watching Aquatica disappear beneath the waves.
They survived, but they're forever changed by what they experienced. They carry the scars, the trauma, the knowledge of what lurks beneath the surface.
But they also carry hope. Their survival is a testament to human resilience, our ability to adapt and overcome even the most terrifying odds.
As they float there, waiting for rescue, you can't help but wonder what other horrors might be lurking in the depths, waiting to be unleashed.
And that's the question Deep Blue Sea leaves us with. It's a cautionary tale about the power of nature and the unintended consequences of our actions.
It reminds us that even in our age of technological advancements, we're still vulnerable to the forces of the natural world.
And that sometimes the scariest monsters are the ones we create ourselves.
We've been talking about Deep Blue Sea and those genetically modified sharks, but it's not just about sharks, right?
No, it really taps into a deeper fear, a fear of the unknown and of the consequences of our actions.
Like when we push scientific boundaries, Are we always prepared for the potential fallout?
Exactly. It makes you think about things like gene editing, artificial intelligence, even climate change, all these areas where we're trying to advance, but there's always that risk that we might create something we can't control.
And the film doesn't shy away from those ethical questions, does it?
No, it really forces us to confront the potential downsides of our ambition, the possibility that our creations could turn against us.
Like Dr. McAllister, she was trying to do good, to find a cure for Alzheimer's. But her methods, they led to disaster.
Right, and it raises that question, how far is too far? When does the pursuit of knowledge become reckless?
And the thing is, Deep Blue Sea doesn't give us easy answers. It just leaves us with those questions lingering in our minds long after the credits roll.
And that's what makes it so effective. It's not just a monster movie, it's a cautionary tale that stays with you.
It makes you think about the choices we make as individuals and as a society, and the responsibility that comes with scientific progress.
And it reminds us that nature is powerful. Even with all our technology, we can't underestimate the forces we're dealing with.
And sometimes, the scariest monsters are the ones we create ourselves.
The film really drives that point home.
Carter and Preacher, they survive, but they're marked by the experience, right? They carry the scars, both physical and emotional.
Yeah, their survival speaks to human resilience, but it also highlights the lasting impact of those encounters with the unknown.
So as we come to the surface from this deep dive into Deep Blue Sea, what are we left with?
I think it's a sense of awe, a sense of caution, and a renewed appreciation for the delicate balance between humanity and the natural world.
It's a reminder that the depths hold wonders, but they also hold dangers, and we need to proceed with respect and a healthy dose of fear.
Because sometimes the most terrifying things are the ones we don't fully understand.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Deep Blue Sea. We'll be back next time to explore another fascinating topic, but until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.
Rocking lobsters rise up tall, pincers flashing, hear that call. Sandy shores, their new domain. Crustacean rulers break the chain. Country lands, oceans tide, from the currents can't hide. Pinch of fate, claws of doom. Underwater kings make room. Rock lobsters taking over. Earth ain't got no